Hey guys, and welcome to the channel. Right, it is WTA Italian Open or Rome Open Masters Final, whatever you want to call it. It's not the final; it's just the draw preview we're going to do. Of course, I'm going to get into this. So, before we do, thank you everyone for your support. Of course, if you do want to check out the ATP version that's already out on the channel, do check it out. Before we get into this, do remember to hit that like button if you are a YouTube watcher or listener, and do subscribe if you're new as well. On top of that, do remember to hit the rating and reviews. Leave a rating and review. Subscribe if you're listening or watching on a podcast platform. Can't forget you podcast listeners and watchers as well. Right, let's get into this. Italian Open, and it's a pretty packed draw. I have to say, I've always been looking forward to the WTA draw previews actually in recent months. And yeah, it's been great to see. Yes, I know Swiatek's been dominating, no doubt, but the depth, I think, in the rest of the field is pretty high. So I'm very much looking forward to seeing how the rest of them do as well. And as you can see there, Iga Swiatek, of course, heading it up as well. Excuse me. And that's how you can tell it's real time. Allergies. Right, let's get into it. Iga Swiatek. So I'm going to do my picks because this seems to be quite a popular choice or opinion of people that they want me to go through the bracket for the draw, go through each round, pick my winner, and then go through it. So I am part of the TNNS fantasy brackets for each tournament. So I do it anyway. So I thought, why not share my picks and my thoughts whilst going through it? And of course, we can preview it at the same time. So Swiatek for me in that first round. Shelby Rogers and Alison Risk. I think that's a really good matchup. Shelby Rogers hasn't really done a lot since she had a bit of a run, didn't she, at the US Open last year? I'm going to go Alison Risk. I think on the clay, I just think she's in better form. Bronzenti versus Camilla Osorio Serrano. I'm going to go with the Colombian. Golubic versus Azarenka. Ooh. Clay's not really Azarenka's wheelhouse, is it? I mean, she's very good on the hard courts. We know that. Quick courts. And she is shining like the brightest light in the world. On slow courts, I'm not so sure how she fares on them, to be fair. I'm going to go for her, though. I think she'll have a little bit too much in terms of skill level. Oh, and here we go. Raducanu versus Andreescu. Wow. This is... Surely there's not going to be a better matchup than this. Or there might be, actually. So Raducanu Andreescu is a phenomenal match. Like, battle of the US Open champions. Of course, they both won as teenagers. Andreescu's coming into some really good form. She had a nice little run recently. So that was interesting. In terms of Raducanu, I mean, she's played really well recently as well on the clay. So that's really interesting. Really, really interesting. I'm not sure because Raducanu, it's going to be a really entertaining match. I can just see I don't know. The baseline exchange is going to be incredible. I'm not quite sure to pick. I'm going to go Raducanu, but with absolutely no confidence whatsoever. And then, of course, a rematch of the Madrid Masters, Sarah Cerebos Tormo versus Naomi Osaka. Oh my god. Like, Osaka must be thinking it's just my luck to get her in the first round because she really struggled against Cerebos Tormo. She had a really good run as well, of course, in Madrid. And I think like it's not really a moon ball, but I guess if you're casual watching it, like you just say it's a moon ball, right? But it is like high top spin, good depth, very, very high coverage over the net. I mean, they were talking about the stats in that match, and obviously Osaka lost it. And the coverage on the forehand over the net was 50, I think it's in centimeters, I think it is. So 50 centimeters. For Sarah Cerebos Tormo, 137. Wow. So This is a really hot. I'm going to go for Osaka to get revenge. Surely she can't lose to back to back. She's a good player, Sri Tomoe, but Osaka should have way too much quality in general for the Spaniard. I mean, she's a multiple Grand Slam champion. Yes, it's on a different surface, but I think she should be fine to do it, to be fair. Martic and Muchova. Muchova for me. Kontavit's obviously got by, so Sabalenka. Ooh, Shui Zhang versus Martina Trevisan, the wild card. So these Italians are going to be really, really dangerous because there's going to be a couple of wild cards or qualifiers, and even people that are just kind of, they've been accepted into the Rome tournament here because they're Italian and they're very, very talented, and they will be hungry for the wins. They will be very, very hungry to kind of make a name for themselves here and win in front of the home crowd. And of course, the home crowd will be behind them. But I'm going to go for Shui Zhang. I think she's going to be too experienced, but you just don't know. Kalinina versus Madison Keys. I'm actually going to go Kalinina. I think she's been in great form, but Madison Keys had a really tight match against Sakari in her first round match or second round match in Madrid. So that's a swing. That's a swing match where you're just not quite sure which way it's going to go. Pegula, I think, against Samsonova. Samsonova is not an easy first round match, by the way. She had a really good run in not Madrid, but it was Stuttgart. Pegula, of course, just made the final, though, in Madrid, losing to Ons Jabeur, taking a set of her, though, as well. She's looking good, and I think she will have a bit of a hangover from that, but no doubt, for me anyway, she'll win at least a couple of matches. I don't see her progressing that really deep, and we'll go into that as we make our picks, but yeah, I think Pegula will get through the first round. Bencic played really well, I thought, last week as well. She obviously lost to the eventual winner, Ons Jabeur, but again, a tight 3-set match. So I think she'll get through the wildcard Cocciaretto. Martin Kova versus Anisimova. Anisimova for me. She's been in some decent form, to be fair. I think she'll be disappointed she didn't go further, considering she kind of wiped out some of the seeds and then lost to an unseeded player. Yeah, that'll be a bit disappointing for her, actually, I would imagine. But she's in some decent form. Halep over Cornet. Halep looked really good, of course, losing to Ons Jabeur, but she was playing some inspired tennis. Not just Jabeur, but Halep as well throughout the tournament, and great to see her back. That's a really tough first-round match against Elise Cornet, of course, who made the quarterfinals of Roland Garros last year. But I'm going to go with Halep. I think she's definitely looking quite dangerous. Daniel Collins has got by, as does Muguruza, so we'll pick them, of course. Can you even pick the by? No, you can't. Good. That would be annoying, wouldn't it? Huvan versus Potentseva. I'm going to go Potentseva. Giorgi versus Tomjanovic. In Italy. Come on, Giorgi, surely. Oh, that is a tough first round match for Jabeur. Oh, why are they giving her Kirsty? I never back against Kirsty, but I'm going to have to today. Jabeur for me. Coco Gauff versus Kerber. Oh, that's a tough one. Although, given the surface and Gauff's got more time to tee up on the forehand, she looked decent last week, so I'm going to go with Coco Gauff. And then we've got the Battle of the Youngsters. We're getting quite a few of these. Clara Tauson versus Marta Kostyuk. Now, I'm pretty sure this is exactly the same match that we had in Madrid in the first round, and Kostyuk won, if I'm not mistaken. Can she do it again? Yep, I'm going to go for her to do it again. She's qualified. That's why she had to qualify. Wow. She needs a little bit of a run, doesn't she, to just get up those rankings again. Sloane Stephens versus Ekaterina Alexandrova, of course, made the semi-finals in Madrid. I'm going to go with Alexandrova. I think Stephens is just, I don't know, she's not a good player to pick personally for me. At the moment, anyway, she's just not in particularly good form. And I don't know. I don't know what's going on with her, to be fair. I mean, look, she's won the US Open in her career. It's not like she's had a bad career, but it's been very, very, I think, underwhelming since. Maria Sakkari has got by, as has Pliskova. Ooh, Jasmine Paolini. She's so exciting. She, of course, lost to Jabeur in the second round, I think it was, in Madrid. But she's a really exciting young prospect. Teichmann, of course, made the semi-finals of Madrid. I'm going to go for the upset. I don't know. I just really like how Paolini plays. And I think this is a bit of bias more about the style that I like. But she's really exciting. I'm going to go Paolini. Crazy pick, I know. Rybakina versus Venetian. I'm going to go Rybakina. Lauren Davis against Ostapenko. Surely Ostapenko can't keep on getting beaten early on recently. Surely she has to stop the rot. Oh, this is a great one. Okay, so there's my 3 matches to watch in the first round. Raducanu Andreescu, Clara Tolson versus Marta Kostyuk, and Pavlyuchenkova versus Leyla Annie Fernandez, for sure. For sure. We'll see if there's more, but this is definitely up there. It's a tough one. Pavlyuchenkova's a little bit. I think if Pavlyuchenkova was and had played a lot more tennis, I would back her because of experience and she likes the clay. She made the Roland Garros final last year. Even though Fernandez, of course, is a very talented youngster, I think she's still quite inexperienced, and I'm not sure how well her game translates onto clay. I think it's maybe a little bit hard for her to, I guess. I think it's hard for her to really dictate and control matches on the clay because she's not able to really just redirect pace. It kind of slows down, of course, on the clay courts, and I'm not quite sure she has the high level of topspin game and kind of penetration through the court. I think she's more of she's a little bit of a grinder, but you need to still have high topspin and very good drop shot and her serve as well. I just think there's some elements there where you can understand and see why generally she's probably better on a faster hard court. So in saying that, who do I go with? I'm going to go with Fernandez just because I think she's played more tennis, but it's a tough one. I'm not sure. Kasatkina versus Inansek. Kasatkina, she had a good run for me last week. Kudermetova versus Sasnovich. I'm going to go Kudermetova, and then Badosa's got a bye. So yeah, definitely those 3 matches I mentioned earlier, first round picks for me. Swiatek versus Alison Risk. That's actually quite a tough second round match, but Swiatek for me. Also, something that's quite good, and I don't think they should have it at Grand Slams, but I think at Masters levels, they should have it. At Masters level, they shouldn't have buys, I don't think. They obviously, in Rome, they do have buys, but in some tournaments, I don't think they do. And I think they shouldn't have them. Why? I think in Masters tournaments, they shouldn't. But in Grand Slams, I get it. I guess the other then argument is, well, the schedule's jam-packed. So isn't it a bit unfair to the players who have worked really hard to get into the top 10? They don't get a rest, right? And they have to work you just as hard. Valid arguments. Let me know your thoughts on that, actually. Anyway, Osorio Serrano versus Azarenka. I'm actually going to go Osorio Serrano to cause the upset. Why not? Oh, and then we would get an absolute cracker. I mean, you know what's so funny? Knowing our luck. So I want Raducanu Osaka. To be honest, even Andreescu versus Osaka, great match. Most likely, Srivas Tormo will probably end up beating Osaka, and knowing our luck. And I really like Srivas Tormo, but in terms of style and watching and a spectacle for me personally, of course, I want to see Osaka get through. And this, I think, would be the best matchup, Osaka Raducanu, personally. This would be the one that I'm like, yeah, amazing. Andreescu Osaka, I'm still great match, really, really good. But I just feel like this would be incredible to watch. I'm actually going to go Raducanu. Am I? Am I though? I'm not sure. The thing is, I have to think about it stylistically because Raducanu is not going to moonball her. She's going to try and hit with her from the back of the court. She will and has added different dimensions, especially to the forehand side, but she's not going to moonball her really. A couple of moonballs in there, but it's not going to be consistent like that. I think Osaka might have too much power. But I'm going to go Raducanu because of recent form. Can we hit the drop shot nicely as well, actually? I think the game is coming along nicely on the clay. So yeah, I'm going to go with Raducanu. Kontaveit over Matrova for me. Sabalenka over Sabalenka over Zhang, yep. Kalinina over Pagula. No, Pagula for me. Bencic and Asimova. Oh, Bencic. Halep Collins. Oh, what a big hitting contest that is. Collins has been in some rotten form. She's going to have to turn it around at some point, and I imagine she will, but Halep's been in too good a form to ignore. Muguruza over Puntenseva. Jabeur over Georgie. Goff versus Kostyuk. Oh, another. I'm loving this. There's 4 really talented youngsters, I think, or 5 actually. Fernandez, Raducanu, Kostyuk, Tolson, and Goff. Right? Unbelievable. Unbelievable. We are lucky, lucky, lucky. Coco Goff. I think she's playing a bit more consistently than Kostyuk recently. Alexandrova versus Sakari. Sakari, although, to be honest with you, Sakari has disappointed me recently. She's, yeah. I've gone deep with her in terms of picking her going deep in tournaments recently, and she hasn't repaid my faith in her, that's for sure. But we'll see. Pliskova versus Paulini. I'm actually going to go, come on, let's go, Pauline. Come on. Pliskova did make the final of Rome last year, though. Oh, I've got to go Pliskova, don't we? Okay, fine. Although she did get double bageled in it, Brandy. It's fine. Ostapenko versus Rybakina. Ostapenko. Fernandez over Kazatkina? No, Kazatkina for me, actually. I'm going to go Kazatkina. And then we also have Badosa versus Kudermetova. Badosa for me. I think Kazatkina in better form than Fernandez, so yeah. Swiatek over Osorio Serrano. Yeah, definitely. Raducanu over Kontaveit. Oh, that's a good. I think Kontaveit's not been in very good form, though. I think she could even potentially have lost before this stage. I'm going Raducanu. I'm going pretty hard on some of these. So I'm going pretty big, aren't I, on some of these picks? Like Raducanu going really deep is that bold? I think it might be. Just because I know she started playing well, but doesn't mean she's suddenly going to go deep in every tournament. Sabalenka Pagula. Oh, that is going to be. I mean, both hit the ball so hard from the back of the court. Who do I go with? I think Sabalenka is going to stop the rot. She made the final of Stuttgart and obviously lost. I think for her, to be fair, she played Anisimova, who's not a good matchup. She's never beaten her. So this is different. I think she'll win this. Halep Bencic. These are some. Can I tell you something? If the draw goes how I'm predicting it, we're going to have some absolute crackers. Halep for me. Muguruza over Johns. Oh, no. Muguruza versus Jabeur. But how is Jabeur feeling, though? I don't know. I'm going to go Jabeur. I'm going to go Goff over Sakari. Pliskova over Ostapenko. Badosa over Kazatkina. Swiatek, Emma Raducanu. I mean, the thing is, you can't pick against. She's also had a break now because of Madrid, so she didn't play it. I mean, spoiler alert that she's going to win it. I don't know. But definitely I'm going to have her going deep, that's for sure. Sabalenka versus Halep. I'm going to go... Sabalenka should, in theory, destroy the Simona Halep second serve. The big thing is going to be how does she serve? Sabalenka, that is. Because if she serves well, Halep, even though a very good returner, I think she'll struggle. I'm going to go Sabalenka, but that's an interesting one. Jabeur, Coco Goff. Jabeur. Pliskova, Badosa. There we go. Iga Swiatek to beat Sabalenka for sure. Badosa over Osaka. But what is going on? On the women's side, why do I keep on picking number 1 versus number 2, Swiatek versus Badosa in the final, and then it never happens? Wishful thinking. I don't know. Maybe I just really want to see Swiatek versus Badosa. Apparently, Swiatek versus Badosa. Do I go blasphemous and go Badosa? I did that last week though, Madrid, and then Swiatek pulled out, and then Badosa lost early on. I don't know, how does Badosa feel though? She had that shoulder injury. Oh no! Oh, should I go back? How far back do I go though? How complete? No, I don't know. I'm assuming she's fully fit. Should I go big on Badosa? Let's do it. Oh, why not? Sure, she has to win at some point. So I've gone Badosa to win. Oh, mate, that is just crazy. What am I doing Anyway, so that's my draw preview and predictions. Yeah, first round matches to watch: Raducanu versus Andrescu for sure. Fernandez versus Pavlyuchenkova is a great one, and Kostyuk versus Tolson. I mean, for me, those are the first round matches to definitely keep an eye out for. I picked Badosa and Swiatek in the final, Badosa to win, but so hard. Like, to be honest with you, if I was boring, I'd just go with Swiatek. And it's pretty boring anyway. I've got number 1 versus number 2. What's wrong with me? Anyway, don't know how that's happened. But yeah, thanks very much, guys, for tuning in. Please remember to smash that like button and subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Of course, on top of that, if you're listening on a podcast platform or watching, do remember to leave a rating and review. We will be having our French Open Roland Garros Power Rankings video coming out soon as well, either today or tomorrow for ATP and WTA. So that'll be great. Thanks very much, guys. Stay safe and well, and we'll see you in the next video.